Welcome, everybody. It's that time of the week again for another episode of Inquiring Minds. I'm Hialeah Comic Bro, and as always, I'm accompanied by Conquistadork Javi. What's up, Javi?
What's up, Hialeah, man? Happy to be here. Happy New Comic Book Day. I think we can still call it New Comic Book Day Wednesday.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, just happy to be here on another Inquiring Minds.
Did you hit up a shop today?
I did go to a shop today, yeah. I did pick up
Cali, right?
Yeah, I'm still in Cali. There's a nice shop here. He actually has a YouTube channel too. So
awesome.
shout out to Fantastic Comics.
Fantastic Comics. I went by Tate's, but I just got some bag and boards. That was about it.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Awesome, dude. All right, you ready, guys? We're ready for our guest for this week.
Ready, set, guest, as Unruly Simeon put it so nicely in the chat.
Awesome. What's up, Unruly Funkso brother? Let's do it. Our guest tonight is Justin. No Good Comics. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Not too much. I appreciate you guys having me on the show. I'm really excited for this, man.
You've been thinking about it all week?
Yeah, man. I've checked out some other episodes and I've caught you guys a couple times live in the past, and but I really appreciate you guys having me on tonight.
Oh, dude,
our
pleasure. Give me.
Where are you in the East Coast, Central Coast, West Coast?
Yeah, I'm in Jersey. I'm on the East Coast.
Nice.
Dude, really?
Yeah, man.
I could have sworn you were in Cali, bro.
Oh, really? No, man.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. And I was like, I think he's in California. You're in Jersey. Oh, okay. All right, that's cool. That's all right, bro. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm not proud of it or anything.
Hey, what's up, poor Mike? What's up, Outcast Raptor? Thanks for joining us, man.
Sure.
Guys, we were talking real quick before off air, and I was telling Javi to put in a No Good Comics YouTube link and in the chat, and I don't think I've ever said, dude, how about liking, subscribing, all three of us? It'll be nice. I've never mentioned, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
It occurred to me today.
Yeah, we need to get No Good up there to that 200 subscriber milestone.
Yeah, man.
You got some great videos, some good editing, and you don't go live. I see. It's just mostly like pre-recorded stuff that you put together.
Yeah, for now, I do a lot of live stuff on Instagram, and I try to do, every Saturday I'll go live on. Usually I do I'm trying to turn it into kind of this show of some sort, but pretty much try to be consistent, go on 2:00 every Saturday. But YouTube, I'd like to, like I said, I'm working off my cell phone for the most part, so I know that I can't use the mobile feature. I have a laptop. I can use the camera's really bad. We actually just bought a new camera, so I want to try it at some point, and because I love watching all the other live YouTubes and trying to be more involved with the community and stuff. And I'll tell you, it's definitely a little bit. I can see a difference in the Instagram community versus the YouTube community. Now there certainly are mixed, and just like you guys are involved on both.
Yeah,
but you can tell who leans a little bit more on one versus the other. And I like to try to be everywhere. So, I would like to do a little bit more of the YouTube live streaming eventually. That's the plan. What's that?
How long have you been on YouTube?
Not long. May 10th is when I started putting my own videos out. I've had an account for a while. Started to follow other people, since I got on Instagram, basically. But, I decided to start putting my own stuff out back in beginning of May. And it's funny you bring that up, Hialeah, about like forgetting to say like and subscribe. Because when I first got into doing these videos, I had to remind myself. And if you watch it, it's almost awkward because I'm almost like, do the thing where you got to like the button, subscribe to the video channel, and I'm stuttering. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm the same way at the end of all my videos. Guys, do that thing, like, subscribe, share, whatever.
Yeah. You should just do it that way from now on. People will get it. Hey, that's how I get it. Yeah.
We'll end the show tonight like that, dude.
Yeah.
Javi, you were gonna ask a question, man. I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, I was just gonna say that Unruly just put it. He just subbed you up on YouTube, but he says he sees you on IG all the time. So
yeah,
it's
Unruly.
like,
I do see him a lot on Instagram. He's a good dude.
yeah.
Oh man, a lot of people in the chat now. That's cool.
Yeah, man.
NYC.
It'll pick up.
Comic Books NYC, Lady Fantastic, Who Dat, Poor Mike. We were shouting. Oh, Nariza R. Thank you for being here as well. Thank you.
Where's
Nice.
Narissa? God, I didn't see her.
It's very it was like a subtle blue iconless.
Oh, there she is. Got her. We got Outcast Raptor. Thanks for joining. Dude, awesome. Yeah, man. Today, was it today or yesterday that you asked me if you could share it on Instagram and stuff, and I was like, dude, you can. I never announce it. I really just do it. I'm on Instagram, but I don't know all those little, what is it?
He's not with the times,
I'm not with the time.
Which is crazy because you got your own show on YouTube, so you certainly are with the times.
I don't know, dude. I've had a lot of help, and now I actually started selling on eBay, and that was a whole project.
Oh
so
man!
I actually know how to sell on eBay, and I've sold a few books already. So yeah,
Nice.
I guess I'm getting with the times. Dude, you're massive. You're massive on IG, dude. You do a lot of stuff, bro.
Wow, man. I mean, I love the platform, and that's what got me into. When I got into comic books, one big thing I wanted to do with the comic books was obviously just, everybody wants to share their stuff. So I was like, I feel like Instagram's just that perfect, platform where you're taking photos. And I have this semi-photography background, and so it kind of also kicked in where I'm like, cool, I'll take these cool angles sometimes, and maybe I don't know, I was trying to get creative with certain things, the pops and things like that, taking close-ups and things like that. So that's what kind of got me into the Instagram thing, and I was using it in I have a personal Instagram too, and I didn't want to share all my comic stuff with those people, because I know a lot of my personal friends that I grew up with and family, they're not going to know any of this stuff or want to really see it. So I was like, let me see. I didn't even know there was a community. That was the big thing. Had no idea there was a comic book community. And it's funny because I should have expected that, because I've been in other type of hobbies that also have communities, so I should have put two and two together. But it was really cool to kind of come across this. And so Instagram's been, I just post, man. I just try to post. I try to comment. I try to, talk with people. I message people all the time, and just kind of carry that conversation, similar to how you guys can do just as a, as a live version. Kind of, you guys have made so many great, relationships, I'm sure, that way. Yeah. That it's just kind of been that same way, just a little more of a grind, probably, with me having to text all the time, but it gets the job done after a while.
Javi, before the show, Javi was mentioning your backdrop, man. It's pretty impressive.
Oh man, yeah, it's coming together, man. It's definitely, I in terms of the setup, I pretty much have all the shelving I think I need, and I just really update the books from time to time, and I try to, I'll try to change that stuff up, a majority of that stuff, anyways, just because I want to show my books off. So, but yeah, it's coming together. It's definitely a work in progress for sure.
So did you start on IG? Did you see books on IG and you were like, oh man, I need to get back into I need to start collecting comics? Or was it like you started collecting comics and then like you said, you wanted to share the books that you got?
Yeah. So basically I've always been a social media guy. I've always, as the different platforms came out, I always picked up on different ones. I used to be really big into Snapchat. I used to teach some of this stuff with other communities that I was part of. And so Instagram, I just always loved as soon as it came out. And so I always had the Instagram kick, and I wasn't into the comic book kick as much. So it was when I kind of got introduced to comic books that got me into, I was like, all right, I'm going to start buying these things. And obviously one of the reasons is the artwork. I love the artwork. So let me just start showing off some stuff. And, I knew there were these other pages that share, things about the movies and the TV shows, and they have these big followings just because they post pictures they take from the internet and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a little something like that, but just of my own photos and stuff, and see how it goes. And then that's how I stumbled across the community from there. So it's definitely been it's been a ride for sure. It's only been 2 years, not even.
How long have you been collecting?
Since August of 2018.
That's it.
Wow.
Period.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, man, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, about 2 years. Yeah, we're approaching August now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna do something special maybe for my I know it's, I think like August 14th or something is when I did my first post on Instagram for comics, but yeah, it was like that new comic book day before the 14th, whatever the date that was. I had an old boss that I worked with. He was leaving the company, and as like a last hurrah, he you know, he liked a lot of the nerd stuff I liked, and he's like, "Yo, you want to go out to lunch and we'll go stop at a comic book store I know about." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I haven't been to a comic book store in so long. So I just went with him, and we had some pizza, and then
Nice.
I ended up buying a couple comic books while we were there. He was like twisting my arm, basically. He's like, "You gonna buy anything?" I'm like, "All right, yeah, I'll pick some stuff up." So I literally bought 2 books, and then the rest went downhill after I read one, and I could not. I mean, I had to see what happened next after I read that first issue, and I was
what book was it? What book was it?
It was Jerry Duggan's Infinity Wars, the first issue.
Yeah. It wasn't a bad run. It was a little bit all over the place, but it wasn't that bad. I could, as a new reader, I could see how that got you hooked. Yeah.
Oh, totally. And the movies were just out at that time, so I was definitely excited for just the hype of the films and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I've loved the films even before comics or anything like that. I was really into that stuff. I always loved the idea of comics. A little history. My dad used to draw for Marvel and DC.
No way.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up, but I,
okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't even know that, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
I didn't know it, and I just forgot. I forget this now.
So yeah, I mean, it's basically been, I've been around it my whole life, the comic book world, but it was never like a thing I got into. It was kind of like, I don't know, my dad's job, the family business, didn't really care for it. I was busy with like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic the Gathering, so I was, I had my own thing, so it took me, my own time to really discover comics for myself, and at 29 years old, I finally fell into it and went all in after that.
That's crazy.
Would you say you appreciate it more now? Having your father grow up doing that stuff, and then now 2 years ago, you've kind of picked up the hobby. You're like, oh man, like where was all this stuff?
yeah. It's funny. And I actually just had this discussion with Hydra Collectibles, Luke, over in the UK. And he just interviewed me actually on one of his shows that he does. And we kind of talked a little bit about this too, where it's like, I now have been able to have like conversations with my dad that I couldn't have had with him or I didn't really have that with him before then. And when he found out that I was into comics, he's like, whoa, hold on. So, like, you're collecting now? You're reading now? He's like, where was all this? So he's telling me all these stories about like when he worked at Marvel and DC and Jim Shooter and all these other details. And now I have this different view of like this history that he's shared with me, kind of like insight that not a lot of other people have. I'm like, that's so cool. And just a cool, like, I guess, father-son bonding opportunity where we didn't have that section. We were always good, but we never had that section, before that. So definitely.
That's gotta be amazing for your dad. Your dad must be like, wow, dude.
Yeah, man. I mean, we catch up on a lot of different things. And it's interesting because I'll tell him some stuff that is maybe different from when he was really involved with the industry.
Right.
How Does things he still follow it? Does he still follow it, or? He does. And he's actually, it's cool. He's I didn't know this up until recently, but he just did a cover for a new Spider-Man that's coming out. It's called Nonstop Spider-Man. It's coming out, I think, at the end of this month or the beginning of next month. And Marvel. What took you so long to get into it? Oh my God. Well, Marvel reached out to him, I guess, and had him do like a project on it, and he did one of the variants. That's all I know. I should show it. Oh man, where did I put it? I have it around here somewhere. I'll find it before the end of the show. Yeah. But he actually sent me the original artwork of that as a birthday present. My birthday passed last month, and he sent me the original artwork for that. So God, you gotta try to find it. Hey, before we get along, I highlighted this question before. All right, this is Atticus Pictus. Okay, he just reached out to me on Instagram, and he sent me a message, and he's like, Hi, what is it? Are you Mr. Batista? Is this Mr. Batista? And I'm like, oh shit, this is somebody that I work with. Well, he used to work for me, right? So his name is Jeff. I used to work with him. I used to be his boss. Awesome guy. And I was telling him, he's into comics now. That's how he found me. He saw my picture somewhere. And
that's awesome, man.
It's really awesome. So then I told him, dude, check out the show tonight. Your brother's gonna be on, right? Because you look just freaking. You guys, brother. And he's asking, are you Filipino? Because he's Filipino.
Yeah, yes, I am. I was born there, born in Manila.
Oh wow, nice.
Awesome. Yeah, I told him, bro, your brother's gonna be on tonight. Come by. Come by, because you guys do look alike. You guys do look alike. So I just wanted to get that in real quick. You gotta have to find that artwork. Okay, I'm telling you right now, you're gonna have to do that.
I swear it was right here. We have 2 dogs and we play with them sometimes. So we always play with them. But I always try to hide it because it was on the floor somewhere. Hang on, let's see. Let me see that. Yeah, move it up.
What's up, 90? What's up?
What's up, 90? Jeff Schultz is in here.
Jeff, what's up, man? What's going on? Javi and I are twins. Yeah, you guys are.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's okay, dude.
I have no idea where it could be right now because
It's all right. Hey.
Damn, I have no idea. I know I moved it recently.
It's cool. Okay.
I can pull up. I don't know because I'm on here on the website of Stadium Comics, and it does say his name on there that he has his issue because I was lurking your videos earlier today, so I did see you shout out your dad in that video that you posted not too long ago. But here, if I scroll down a little bit, we'll see it is
there it is. The green one.
The green one.
Yeah, if you scroll back up, it's that bottom. Yeah, that one there.
Dude, how badass is that, bro?
He did the penciling for that. I don't know who colored it, but he did the penciling.
The Punisher right there, dead center in the middle in the background. That's sick. I love it. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so I was really surprised to I mean that it was just cool that he sent me the original art for that, which is I'm starting to collect a little bit of original art, but I have nothing like that, like a variant, like a cover or something like that. So it's cool that he sent it my way.
Was it
that's
like
awesome.
I don't know how to exactly describe it, but I guess it was like a larger print, and then I guess they like scan it and then they like size it down.
Yeah, it has like those blue lines on the outsides to kind of show like where the cutoff is and everything.
That's awesome, man. I know some people in the chat collect some original art too. So
I was gonna say, I know NYC, I know Javi is all over that.
Yeah, he's all over that. Dude, how proud are you of your dad? How much more do you appreciate him now that you're into it?
Oh man, big time. I mean, it's just so cool. Well, I'll tell you, knowing I went to Comic Cons when I was little too, and it was I was on the other side though. I was behind the table while people asked him for his autograph, and I remember thinking, this is just my dad. I was like, you want me to sign it? I'll sign it. Like no one has a book that has the father and the son signature. So, let's do this. You know what I mean? Like it'll be worth way more. You know. Nobody wanted my signature. Yeah, man. Cool. I don't know. It definitely has hit home. I mean, I have a lot of exploring to do still on my own, just with different things. I haven't even read a lot of his work, and he's done some independent work too that I've never really. I mean, he's still to this day have not taken the time to really explore. And so between that, he drew Flash in the 90s, the late 80s, early 90s. He did the Web of Venom. He was the one that did the inside pencilings for like the first 5 issues of Web of Spider-Man.
Okay.
So
he's done though. He did a couple covers too. He didn't do the first cover, but
for Web of Spider-Man, the one that starts off that he's like in black and white and not.
The original Web of Spider-Man. He did the interior pencils for that.
Wow. No covers though, you said?
I also found out he did the Marvel team up with Spider-Man and Daredevil 141. He did the penciling for that too.
No shit.
So just for some of his, the keys or whatever, he's done a lot of random ones.
I
too.
got that one. I actually was looking at it today.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go back and look through it. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that's so freaking cool, dude.
If you, that one stood out to me because I noticed people get it graded, and when it's graded, they list his name on the the top of it there.
Right on the top, they credit the artist and the
yeah. So that kind of stood out to me. But yeah, I mean, so it's definitely I don't know, it's a different world.
Maybe fantastic. I have Web of Spider-Man issues 1 through 7.
There you go. There you go. Yeah,
I've read all those. I don't know. I don't have them. I only have the #1 right now. But I used to. I collected that back in the day, and I used to read all of them. I think I had like 1 through 30 or something.
Yeah. It's still a pretty affordable, collection to get, and I don't know. I've seen so many people bring issue #1 to him to get signed. That was like one of the bigger books, I would say, that people have.
I would have to say that's a key, dude. It's a beautiful cover.
Yeah,
but I know he didn't do the cover. But he's on the cover. But
yeah.
But he's in the book.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that is too freaking. I think that was like the first ongoing Spider-Man.
After
Spider-Man,
Amazing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. Okay, I want to just say, when you said you started collecting in 2018, and some of the books that you have, I was like, what the fuck? Because we've been talking for 21 minutes, and I can't wait to. Okay, you just won a massive book, and you better have that one nearby you.
It's on the wall. I can take it down. Yeah. Yeah,
dude, you gotta show this, and I want to hear the story behind this.
So yeah, this is
Yeah, make him
Oh yeah, he's coming. It's coming.
Dude, so amazing.
Just won this a couple weeks ago, and I'll tell you now, the most I've spent on a comic book is a few $100s ever. So I have this, and I actually just won a X-Men 12 right before this, which was just nuts.
Wow.
So this is, a couple of raffles. I've been dabbling in some of the raffles lately, and just got lucky. The funny thing is, I won the X-Men 12 first, and then afterwards, like 5 days later, I won this one. And I was trying to explain to my girlfriend. I was trying to explain to my girlfriend, and when I first won the $500 one, she was like, "Oh my goodness, like that's so great!" And I was very excited, obviously. And then I, when I won this like 5 days later, I was like, "Hey, remember when I told you how I won that $500 book?" She's like, "Yeah. Would you win another one?" I was like, "I actually won a $5,000 to $6,000 book." And she's like, "What?"
Dude,
I don't even think the X-Men 12 showed up yet. So, but when it did, at that point, all the excitement was lost of the X-Men 12.
Right.
Completely stolen. So,
what's the X-Men 12? Is it graded also, or is it raw?
It's a 4/5. Yeah, it's graded.
Oh wow,
it's a 4/5, dude. That's great.
Off-white to white, and then this is a 2.5 off-white to white. Stan Lee signed it back in September of 2012. So the signature is a nice one. I've noticed his signature is kind of changed through the years, obviously.
Yeah.
So this was 2012 was a good signature. And
I was about to say a bad joke about the signature thing, but I'm not going to myself.
Yeah, contain yourself.
I was just about to say you should see his signature now. But anyway, that was bad. Anyway. How did you win that, bro? I want to hear the steps. How do you win a raffle on IG? Because that is like something foreign to me. I can't even. Because explain it. I'll let you explain.
Yeah, so basically you're essentially buying tickets or spots. They'll call them certain amounts. Some only have 10 spots. Some have like 100 spots. If it's a $100 book, there could be a bunch of $2 spots that you can claim. And it's this is all like Instagram based. I know there is a platform for. I know there is a whole group of people that do it on Facebook too. Mm-hmm. I just looked at it as a way to like look. I am nowhere near ever gonna like spend $5,000 on a comic book anytime soon. Just not. Sure, maybe down the road. Like a lifelong goal, like something I can do. slowly save up for, or maybe I sell a bunch of my other stuff eventually and one day do that. But, again, like you guys said, I'm 2 years into collecting comics, and, I'm still trying to collect some of the smaller keys that, like, I just feel like I should have had, from a long time ago. And let alone, of course, I'm buying new stuff too, which, it certainly doesn't, it doesn't help the wallet. So, between all this stuff, I'm just like, I saw this be posted, and, of course, there's other, big books going around too. And I was just like, oh man, I've been on such an X-Men kick over the past, since March, really. And I've just loved everything I've read, and especially the Claremont stuff. So, I wanted to just give it a shot. And so, definitely I had to risk some money for sure. But like I said, I got lucky, and I don't know, it just kind of felt like that was my book right when I saw it, so bought a couple spots, and, you kind of win like sub minis, what they call minis and sub minis, and you can win into like the main event.
Okay. How does that work? Because that's what I wanted to know. You win a mini and 2 shots into a mini, and then you go into the main. What did explain that to us?
Yeah. So let's say the main for this book was $500 per ticket, and each ticket, there was 10 tickets. Okay. So, and then like basically
10 spots, like.
Right. So you'll just see 1 through 10, and then names are filled next to each number. So you get a number essentially. And then they run this randomizer, like the randomizer.org or whatever that website is. And whoever's name's at the top. It's like The Boy Who Had 7, like how they randomize the topics for categories. Yeah. So same thing like that. So whoever's name is at the top, you win that. So obviously a lot of people aren't going to throw $500 down either, just as a gamble to, hope to win out of 10 people. So they gave you chances by like buying what they call minis, which are like $50, and it's 10 people, $50 each. And the winner of that gets a spot in the main.
Without having to put the $500 in?
Right. Cause basically it's you and 9 other people that are buying $50 spots, and then that equals the 500. So that money, that would go towards the spot of whoever wins that.
Is that how you got that book?
So I got it from doing sub minis, which is a level lower than that. So, basically I had those sub minis are $10, and you have to be top 2. And so if you run it, you're one of the top 2, you win a spot into a mini, which is worth $50. And if you win that, you win a spot into the 500. And then if you win that, you win the book.
So your luck streak was on fire for that.
You had to hit a lot of time. Yeah, it definitely required a lot. And I actually had two spots in the main at that time. So I actually had 20% chance at that point to hit this book. I think everyone else was just a single at that point. Now, don't get me wrong. I spent a little over $200 to do this, and that was a risk. So
because you don't know if you're going to get it or not.
Right. So, I mean, you easily, and in fact, the first time I did this, just to give you guys a little aspect of how the bad side that it feels, the first 2 times that I bought 2 $50 minis and immediately lost both of them. And that sucked. So to give you a little perspective, how quickly it can go and the money just be gone, it's not, it doesn't feel good. So
no, it's a risk, dude, but wow, dude, what a win. What luck.
I'm definitely running hot for sure. I was definitely running hot. And it's funny. I kind of talked a little bit about this. I was on John's Comics with Kids show, I think last week with Alec.
Right.
And we were talking about X-Men and stuff. And I just got the book in that day. So I was sharing it off with them. And I just kind of told them the same thing. And I actually, one of the reasons I kind of was a little loose with this and going for it was I actually I placed a bet on a golfer, and I don't know anything about golf. But me and my girlfriend were just having fun with it. We miss sports. And so, all we can get right now is golf. So we're like, okay, let's make it a little interesting. We'll throw some money down on it. That's one of the positives of living in Jersey, right? So, put a little money on that, and we actually hit there. So I had a little extra cash to kind of.
Oh, you're so hot right now.
I just felt, if I lose this, I'm like, okay, it's not the end of the world. It's just money that I won. So that was kind of my view on it.
Javi, let's shout out the chat real quick, man. We've had a lot more people jump in, man.
Awesome people. I know Lady Fantastic was saying, I've been at it since 91 and don't have the fire. No good does.
Oh, man. That is rough.
Just a little podcast is in here. Poor Mike. Mr. Gorell jumped in here, man. Thank you for hanging out. Stay Puff, Sean, what's going on, man? Lady Fantastic is also in here. Dusty Brick Brown. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Max Corrado, what's going on? Chet Scotland, what's up? What's up? Thank you, everybody, for being here. I know Chad said the same thing too. I've been collecting for 5 years, and no good has the fire.
Dude, I've been collecting for 40 years, and I don't got nothing close to that. Dude, that's crazy, bro.
So I feel like the biggest book that I have that I paid for, I paid for and didn't win is the I have a Saga in a 9.8 Saga issue number 1 from the first printing, and that was a cool one to collect too, because when I first got into collecting comics, I don't know, someone at my LCS recommended that I read Saga, so I went into
Wait a minute, I'm sorry. Bro, Unruly is just so fucking funny, bro. Can you read that?
Quick, good. Give me 6 random numbers between 1 and 6.
Wait. Unruly. Let me just say, I just saw Unruly win a big book himself, and I was in it, and I lost. So I know Unruly hit a nice one. I think it was an early Fantastic Four book that he hit that I was after. Congrats to you, brother. Go with 5 and 30. Those are my numbers.
Dude, it's just freaking. Yeah, 90, bro. You broke me in. It took me to meet you to get me to drink.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know either, dude. We'll find out. Time will tell. Dude, that's nuts, bro.
But yeah, so the Saga that I bought, that wasn't graded when I bought it, and I reached out to or a friend of mine randomly posted on Facebook. Actually, a friend of mine that I used to play Magic the Gathering with. He just was like, "Hey, went through my books under my bed, and I found a bunch of comics. Anybody want them?" And I messaged him and just said, "Oh, well, what do you have?" And he's like, "Oh, I have the first 30 issues of Saga," and he named a couple other things. And I was like, "Oh, like I'll buy them from you. How, what are the conditions?" He's like, "Dude, I haven't touched them since the day they came out."
Wow.
I was like, all right. I was like, well, what do you want for him? And I don't think he really knew. And I was new to it still. And so I just looked it up on YouTube or on eBay, saw how much like that first one was going for raw. So I offered him $150 for the 30 issues.
Nice.
And he was like, sure. He's like, I'm just trying to get rid of him. I think he wasn't even expecting that much. So it was kind of a win-win for both of us. So I got that. And then last year was my first time ever trying to grade anything at CGC. And one of the things that I submitted through a third party was the Saga, and it came back as a 9.8. So that's probably my book that I have that's worth the most, that I paid for in honesty, and didn't win or anything like that.
Of course, it comes back a 9.8. It's freaking Justin sending it in. Of course, the 9.8.
You're like, just send anything in, man.
90 cents. Oh yeah, it looks like a 4. It comes back an 8. Okay, yeah. Totally, dude. Did you read the Saga?
Yeah, man. So I've been taking my time with it, and I'm up through the first 2, like I guess it'd be the first 18 or 36. Sorry, first 36 issues I've read through, and I love it. And I'm just taking my time because I know it's not currently running still.
Right.
I hope that they come back eventually.
They have to, bro. They cannot not come back.
I love it, man. I really do, and I literally am like purposely taking my time with it just because I don't want it to end. Like, I'm really enjoying it. So, I got to get into the big volumes. Like, I went out and bought the volumes too just to read, so because I didn't want to open up any of the issues. But it's a good read for sure.
Did you get the X-Men 12? Did you find that you have it there?
Oh yeah. I have that up here. I can't believe I can't find that photo. It kills me.
Dude, I only let you know that, show off whatever you want, and you're not going to show off your dad's art. That's number 1 on your freaking list, dude. What's up?
I really didn't have, I didn't have much to like, I didn't know what I was going to show off, really.
Yeah.
This was technically the first big win that I got.
Dude,
I was ecstatic for this. I was certainly... Juggernaut's a massive character with X-Men, and just been wanting it for a while. And again, this is another book where I'm just like, I'm not going to spend $500 anytime soon. I'm just not. It's just hard for me to justify for that. And also there's just bigger books that I want, that I would prefer, like a Daredevil 1. I would rather have something like that. But yeah, so this was the other big one that that was like about $90, I think, that I invested in for that.
God bless.
But
Are you in any Daredevil 1 raffles at the moment?
no, man, they're hiding for me. I don't know.
Dude, I actually saw one today. Tate's has a 6.0. That's a shop near us. Has a 6.0. They want $3,500 for it. I don't think that's a bad price. I don't know how much that goes for, but it doesn't seem like a bad price for a.
It doesn't sound. I think it's fair. I think it's fair.
Yeah, Max Corrado's. Yeah, this is an insanely good price.
Yeah, that's $3,500 for a 6.0. But like you, man, dude, you know what it is? Putting down $3,500 on a book. God.
That's why you got to do the raffles, man.
well, that's how I looked at X-Men 1. I'm just like, there's no way that I'm ever like just not gonna drop it. No time soon. I mean, as life goes on, maybe something else nice happens where I could do it. But certainly right now, I have other goals and other things I'm trying to pursue that are not even comic related. And so priority wise, I was like, there's no time that I'm dropping $5,000. And then when I saw that it was signed by Stan Lee, on top of that, I'm just like, I don't have any Stan Lee signed books, so that would be extra nice.
We've been collecting 2 years, and you got an X-Men 1 signed by Stan. God damn you. You freaking bastard. Hey,
you're like, I'm kicking him off. I'm closing this.
Okay. What books are you looking? You said the Daredevil 1, but like those are you're just looking. How do you collect your key? Right now, it seems like your keys. You're after keys, but
yeah. So big time. I recently have really adjusted the way I collect, and definitely it's still an adjustment. I'm still learning as I go. This was something I was thinking about bringing up on like my YouTube channel, was just talking about and especially for like just beginners or just people that are getting involved for the first time. I didn't know what was worth what or what I should be buying or whatever. And that was probably my biggest problem right there, was asking myself, what should I be buying? And then going and listening to all these people tell me what to buy. And that was my problem. So I have a bunch of books that I kind of don't care for. And I'm trying to move them or get rid of them. But yeah, right now I'm trying to get more of the keys, and especially like Silver Age stuff, things that are just going to continue to get harder and harder to find. I'm trying to lay off of some of the newer stuff. Especially new books. Even I try to cut myself back. I don't have a pull list anymore. There's very few select titles that I am getting. I still buy the new Daredevil and some of the new X-Men stuff, but I try to cut back on some of that, because a lot of that just adds up, man. And I'm like, oh, that could have been something bigger, or that could have been, some
takes up space too,
Takes up space.
It's totally. It's funny, you guys were bringing this up last time with poor Mike, and it was cool that he brought that up as kind of one of the problems he's running into, and that's totally something I've been reaching out to the community on Instagram about. I remember having a long discussion with John's Comments with Kids, and just saying like, I have a basement, so it's kind of the man cave, and my girlfriend doesn't mind too much of what I do, but it's like, she I still want to be like, I want to keep it contained to some degree, right? So I'm kind of running out of room. I was like, if I keep buying the way that I've been buying these past 2 years, my basement is going to be full. I mean, I'm not going to have, any space. It's just not realistic. So it is something to be concerned about. And I tell anybody that's like newer, just getting into the hobby I'm like, just keep that in mind as you start buying stuff. You might find all these cool dollar books, and there's been tons of times where I just go raiding dollar books and or dollar bins and buying tons of stuff, and like I just look at them one time, think they're cool, and put them in my, put them in a bin. But that's it, right? That's it. And then it's like, oh, let me go sell them, and it's like, oh, well, they're not really worth much.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and I'm giving them away or whatever, and it's just like it. But it fills a lot of space up. So that's another positive about the keys, being able to kind of contain some of that stuff and buy less in that sense. But
you brought up your girlfriend, dude. How does she feel about it? Because how long you been with? If I could ask, how long you been with her?
So we just passed our 3-year mark in July.
So she was already a year in until when this bug hit.
When the craze started, yeah.
So
what did you have to say about it?
So I remember our second time dating. We were out at a restaurant or something, and we were still learning. Just telling each other, telling about each other and getting to know each other. And I was like, all right, so I got to break this to you. And she's like, okay, what? And I'm like, I just want to let you know, I'm really, really, really into the card game Magic the Gathering. And she's like, oh, okay. And she's like, all right, that's cool. She's like,
do you have a, what's it called? Do you have like a Black Lotus or?
No, I wish. But I used to try to play semi-competitively, and I would travel and do all the. I'll tell you, it was work, and that's kind of partially why I don't do it anymore. But you know, I'm a competitive person. I want to be the best at whatever it is that I am trying to do. And so when it comes to card games like that and having a competitive scene, I was really trying to, you know, kind of, I guess, grind. But I wanted to let her know. I was like, look, just so you know, like I'm a nerd. I like these kind of things. I was like, there's the door if you're not going to like me because of that or whatever. But she's like, yeah, no, that's cool. That's like, you know, I totally support. And she's been very supportive ever since. But she did not see, and neither did I. Neither of us saw the comic book thing coming at all. So that certainly was, you know, an adjustment for sure. And I know she's watching right now somewhere. But she's in there. But yeah, I mean, so a little while, she's like, I explained to her, I'm like, when I get into something, I'm like really into it. And that's just like, that's part of who I am and what I do. And so that's, you know, she's been very supportive though. And I've explained to her, you know, why I buy the books and what I plan to do with them long term. And I said, look, this is not, you know, biggest thing of mine personally. I don't try to go into credit when it comes to buying comic books. Anything that I buy, it's with comfortable money that I have, that I'm completely, you know, I have all my other responsibilities already covered and some before I even get into anything like that. So I think that's one of the biggest ways to kind of approach it, at least for me. It works for me. But yeah, that's so anyways, that she's good though. She's supportive about it, and she likes the movies. That's the other big thing. So
nice.
We definitely connect on that. She loved the Daredevil TV series. She loves Punisher. She loved that first season of Punisher, things like that. So you know, we can definitely talk about, you know, certain things, and she's been my biggest fan in terms of me, you know, on Instagram and stuff. Very supportive. So
awesome, man.
Yeah, dude, look, Magic the Gathering. She should have left you on the spot.
Right? I tried to let her know. I warned her. I did warn her.
Yeah, you did give her a fair warning. You know, second date in, Magic the Gathering.
I was like, you can still leave now if you want.
What's up,
has it stopped? Have you stopped buying like the booster packs and like the boxes and stuff like that for Magic?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I have some friends that that'll reach out to me still that tell me if I need to pick up a card or something that they think's cheap right now that's going to go up. They'll give me a heads up on it, and sometimes I'll throw some dollars towards it. But I mean, and it's funny. Oh, actually, I should say this. My girlfriend plays Magic the Gathering now. I taught her. Ever since then, she's actually very good at the game. She won't admit it. She's good at the game, and we actually play. We just played like 3 days ago. We play all the time. I should have said that earlier. I meant to tie that in. So it's funny. It kind of comes back around where she legitimately. I mean, she beats. I used to take her to Friday Night Magic, which is like the night to play Magic with a bunch of other people. And one night she went like it's 4 rounds, and it's very hard to go 4-0. But one of our last nights going, she went 3-1 for the first time, and I remember that she beat like one of the better nerds that like play there. And I remember how tilted the guy was. Like this guy's like, when I say guy, he was a kid. He's like a teenager, and and I could just tell he was so angry. yeah. And I've actually taken pictures of her while she's playing against opponents. And there's like this one time where she was playing like this 9-year-old. And I'm like, yeah, you feel real good about yourself, don't you? Kicking butt of a 9-year-old. You feel real good. And she's like, why'd you have to take that picture?
Dude, and you're in the corner, that's my girl! Yeah. Get him! Yeah!
The crush is so
you're in the corner, yeah! He's
like crying he's just crying as he plays.
I know, Magic the Gathering I never got into it, but I love the environment and how passionate people get about it. Yeah, it's really fun.
It's like this, man. It's like comics. There's a whole community, and I've made so many close friends from Magic. So it's very similar to comics. Hearthstone. There you go, Perry. That's very similar to that for sure. A lot of those guys play that too.
Yeah.
And that's on like a competitive level too. You guys can, I mean, people can play like a living.
For sure. Yeah, now they do the Magic the Gathering online. They did the online game for it, and I know Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering are sort of like fusing together to like make their own world and stuff like that. And Magic the Gathering just came out with some like Godzilla cards.
Oh, really?
Pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know if you heard about that.
Not yet. I'll have to see that. That sounds weird.
Yeah, it is weird, but yeah.
When you say Godzilla cards, he didn't look too impressed. I'm
like, my dwarfs can crush that guy.
Hey, check out Chet Scotland, dude. When my girlfriend found out about my books at work, what my books are worth, she started requesting Louis Vuitton bags. Dude, that sounds like my wife, bro.
There you go.
Yeah. My wife's the complete opposite. She's just happy I'm home doing this, instead of being out in the streets, wandering the streets.
Definitely
trouble. Yep. Dude, so before the show, you know what? Before I forget, those lights, you turn them off. How does it look in the dark?
Oh, these here? It's cool. I have another one that's kind of on the side here, but it's a work in progress. It's nothing crazy. I always just light them up. This past Christmas, we were buying new lights for the tree. I was like, oh, it'd be cool to, get some lights up for I've seen other people with kind of decorating around their stuff. So I just threw them up. It's not really organized or anything, but it's all right. I mean, I don't know. I'd like some cool LEDs or something like that. A little cooler.
What's up, Master Don? What's going on, Donnie? Perry, Ben,
Simple Simon,
Sharon. Thanks, guys, for coming by. Okay, we were talking before the show, and I asked something. Now I can't freaking remember. And I told you guys we were going to act it out. So you guys would look. I was going to ask it again.
Oh.
You guys were going to act all surprised, but I can't remember. I know it has something to do with Pops, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, just that I've been trying to not buy Pops because they're so I've been slowly collecting them, and I keep telling myself to stop buying them, and here I am with a whole shelf full of them.
Dude, I got them too, man. You can't stop. I'm getting one in the mail because I saw it on it, and I saw something on Instagram, and I bought it. And dude, it's a pop of I can't wait to get it. It's the Warriors, the movie The Warriors.
Yeah.
One of the baseball furies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to get it. I'm like fucking 10 years old, man.
Yeah.
I need for that pop to come in because it looks so cool.
That's great.
What's up, Jeff?
I know poor Mike was asking a question. It's kind of
Titus.
He was asking who your favorite hero was, or your favorite character was.
Hey, look at Mr. Durrell. Wait, I thought there was no talking before the show.
It's true.
I broke the rule, Mr. Durrell. I broke the rule. I'm sorry. Who was asking a question? Poor Mike?
Poor Mike, yeah. He was asking who your favorite character was.
Yeah.
So yeah, my number one definitely is Daredevil, and it's cool because this is something I kind of just talked to Hydra Collectibles about, and just talking about how Daredevil's been kind of one of the number ones as I started to really dive into things, and kind of being that underdog, I guess. But between him, Captain America is up there as a close second, and then the X-Men. Man, I tell you, man, you guys know now. I mean, I'm new to certain things, and X-Men is certainly one of the things I'm new to. And I've just started diving in, and I love them now. I mean, I never would have thought 10, 15, 20 years ago that I ever would be as obsessed as I am with X-Men. Was
it like the whole House of X, Powers of 10 thing that kind of hooked you to X-Men, or?
No, actually the Claremont stuff,
nice.
Issue 94. I just jumped on. I read Giant Size X-Men 1, went right into 94, just started reading all the way through the John Byrne stuff.
Did you win an X-Men Giant Size X-Men 2, or what the fuck? How are you reading this?
So it's pretty brutal, but I actually I was off by 1, and I almost won one just the other day.
Are you serious?
It was crazy. It was such a hard. That's the other side of it, right? That I'm sure people won't really talk about as much is those close calls and really wondering how many close calls a person can go through that you just don't hear about and know that that's money lost or whatever. But that was certainly brutal. I was just one shy of winning that. It was a 9-2.
Wow.
Are you serious? A 9-2 and you were one off?
Yeah. I only had like 40 or 50 bucks in it too, which was kind of insane. So it would have been a nice thing to add into the story.
Like if you don't have enough to add into the story, dude,
I was like, oh man, the guys want me on the show. I need to win something else quick.
Hey, when you were on last week with White Whale and John, weren't you guys talking X-Men books?
Yeah, we were talking Days of Future Past.
That's right.
Right. We broke that down. We did a kind of a re-preview of that since I don't think there was anything that great of New Comic Book Day, so they wanted to go back to something.
And that was a great 2-issue story.
Oh man, so great, so great.
Is that one of your? Well, yeah, it has to be one of your favorite stories in the X-Men, right? So far,
that honestly, that whole 94 to 143,
epic.
Dave Cockrum, John Byrne, Terry Austin, like all that stuff. It's just so good. I tell anybody. I know a lot of people have read the big stuff, like those 2 issues and the Dark Phoenix saga, but even the in betweens are so good. So good. Even, issue 98, 99, 100, like they're so great. 111.
In that run, there's a lot of like day-to-day stuff that they're doing. It has nothing to do with the adventure or destroying. Right. It's just day-to-day stuff, and it's such a great. It's
like a soap opera. I mean, it's like
see
the relationships,
like a slice of life.
Yeah, you kind of like care more, and that's. I was telling Luke about this, where I'm like, I think one of the big things that drew me to it was that, maybe sometimes I'll get a little bored of like the whole typical superhero versus villain. Mm-hmm. So X-Men kind of mixes that up a little bit and puts another spin to, I guess, some of the drama that I can appreciate. So, what's he say? Oh, there's Chet. Surprised you aren't stuck on X-Men. Oh, he knows. So Chet's a really big X-Men fan, like diehard, and we've talked a lot actually. And he's a big fan of the issue 111 to 113. I was thinking about having a whole show on that because I could talk about that, and he is very knowledgeable of the X-Men stuff. It's cool. What's up, Chet? Good to see you, brother.
111 through 113, is that the one with the arcade?
No, arcade's 123, that era. But 111 is where Beast goes to visit them, and they're all taken over by Mesmero as like the
cover where it's like a black cover, and I think it's
no, it has Banshee on the front saying "Step right up, step right up," and you see Storm in the background. They're all in chains, but they're like they're basically performing in front of people.
Oh, they're the sideshow.
Yeah.
Last is like the strong man with he's lifting
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So and it goes into this classic Magneto battle into 112 and 113. That's really cool. Hoodrat, what's up, Hoodrat? Discovery Bay, cool.
Yeah, some awesome people joining us.
Nice.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
The Jackson Roy Kirk was asking, "What? This is a scripted show?"
No. Well, we don't try to hang out too much before the show, so we could save the conversation. And today we were just in a few minutes early, and I broke the rule and I started asking him a question, and it kind of freaked. And then I was like, "Damn, I should have saved that."
I think you had like 3 of those. You had like 3 different times.
Because dude, we should start talking. This show's basically we should start talking, and it's whatever, wherever it goes. Sometimes like I was telling Justin, just look at our show from last week with poor Mike. We were talking air conditioning. It's just you don't know. So, you know what? The show I was gonna leave something for the show, but I wonder if anybody's noticed Justin's shirt.
Oh yeah. Anybody recognize that?
I mean, you did mention it was your favorite character, so
yeah. It's funny. I actually before I jumped on, so my girlfriend and I, we usually like to play Rummy 500 from time to time.
Yeah, I like that.
And yeah, we keep score of how many wins that we each get, and we have this big thing like the first one to 50, the other person has to like take out to dinner as like this thing. So it we make it fun. But so
God,
we usually we like to watch.
Competitive as shit, man.
Well, yeah. Oh, and I don't hold back, man. I won the first time around, and I'm like, oh, we're getting steak, we're getting drinks, we're getting like, you know. But so one of the things we do, we usually put on like some like old classic like movie or TV show. We were watching like Boy Meets World before that, and we just had on before I jumped on here, we had the Mighty Ducks, the first Mighty Ducks.
Oh, great!
And I bring this up because as we're talking about Nelson and Murdoch, I forgot that one of the main kids in Mighty Ducks is Foggy from the show. You guys watch the show? Have you seen the show? He's the actor. He's the same guy.
Oh, and he's all grown up.
And he's all grown up. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh man. Ever since I watched the show, I'm like, I know that guy from somewhere, and I couldn't remember where. Now I realize like that was one of his, you know, I mean, he's done other things, but you know, that's one of his like first, you know, as a kid, one of his bigger, films that he did or whatever. So
you realize that today?
What's that?
You realize that today?
Yeah, I mean, it's not every day you watch the Mighty Ducks.
No, it was very random.
It's a nice coincidence. I think it's a nice coincidence.
Yeah, it's very random. We'll just put on some random stuff while we're playing. So sometimes we listen to music too. Try to mix it up with some music.
You never just a little strip rummy? No?
No. It wouldn't be fair, man. I crush it. So
hey, what Max Corrado, favorite X-Men villain?
Oh, Magneto, man. I mean, and I hate to even call him a villain now because he's amazing with the new stuff. And yeah, that's you mentioned the House of X and Powers of 10 before. I have caught up to that stuff now, and I'm currently still reading some of the Dawn of X stuff, and I love it. I love all that. I love all of it. So, but yeah, Magneto, I have to say, and now I have his first appearance, so that's cool.
Yeah, Mr. Gurrell, you know how Hialeah is, Mr. Gurrell. Dude, Hialeah has no chill.
Oh my god.
Age of Apocalypse, great storyline, of course, for the X-Men. And then Foggy. Foggy is one half of the Bash Bros.
Yep.
Dude, hey, I'm surprised 90's here, man. You know, thanks 90 for stopping by, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, I mean, we're hitting that hour mark, but I wanted to ask, I don't know if you have it next to you or like readily available, but when you did your video kind of showcasing your dad and things like that, he gave you some original artwork that wasn't his, right? That was like some Neil Adams stuff.
Yeah, it was a portfolio, and they were prints. They weren't original, but they were prints, and he signed them. Dude, it's so terrible. I had them. I want to say I had the two things together, and I can't for the life of me think of where I would move them because all I have is this.
I feel like they might be.
Yeah, no.
Dude,
all the Hickman stuff.
2 years in, and he's losing original art.
It's crazy.
Pieces of art.
Thanks, 90 says,
bro. It must be nice being you.
You're like, make sure you show off anything you want to show off, and I'm over here like trying to find stuff.
Aggressively reacting. Yes, Hialeah does have a dog track. Yes, it does. Grew up right next to it.
When you have good content, you can.
Thanks, 90. I could always count on you. So what else are you into, bro?
So I guess there were a couple things that I was going to share. One of the big things was that a lot of people don't know is I used to be a motivational speaker, and I figured that was something.
Wait a second. How old are you?
I'm 32 now.
Okay, and you've been a motivational speaker.
So yeah, I used to go to high schools, middle schools, and colleges and talk to kids and younger people to just try to inspire them on the idea of not settling for less and to do what you love to do. I think it's so easy for people to just kind of get into this day-to-day rhythm with maybe a job they hate or they can't stand or it's toxic. and they just put up with it, or they accept whatever it is that was given to them in terms of whatever school they got into, or their parents made them go to, or I don't know, someone telling them what industry they should try to be into, or career, oh, you've always been so good at this. Why don't you get into this? Meanwhile, maybe that person is, more into arts or more into music, or, that was a big thing for me, because I actually used to be in the music industry before this. And that was a big thing. So that was the thing actually that kind of inspired me, because it took me a very long time to get into the music industry. And when I finally did, I was doing some pretty cool things. I was traveling the world. I was meeting some big name artists and
how did you get into that though? That's what I want to know. How do you get into motivational speaker at such a young age?
I had it was a little combination of things where I had a friend that kind of brought some things to mind for me. He asked me some simple questions like, would you rather live your dream or would you rather live someone else's dream? And I thought I knew the answer to that immediately. And I was like, oh, that's easy. I'd rather live my dream and, and do what I want to do. And he's like, oh, that's great. He's like, so what do you do for a living? And at that time I was working at a retail store, FYE. And,
okay. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, I'm working at this store. It's all right. It doesn't pay well, but, pays the bills, And he's like, all right, see, so that's what you're doing right now is you're kind of living someone else's dream. He's like, do you believe in FYE? Is that something you want to grow into? And I was like, well, not really. I was like, it's just like a thing, it's just something that's kind of getting me by and I'm comfortable there. I mean, I was with that company for like 7 years. So it was easy to just, I made friends and just kind of coasted as like an assistant manager. And, I was like, I mean, that to me was just I was comfortable for in my own world, and not to say anything bad or negative about assistant
right.
It was just not something that I agreed with per se, and yet I was like continuing to just kind of ride that out. And so a friend of mine just kind of told me about some motivational speakers and stuff. Kind of just changed my life. And I started going back into the music industry, and I literally went knocking on doors, and I got 2 internships within a week. And that was kind of like proof to me where it's like, if you just do the work and you're willing to put in the grind and, do what you got to do and kind of prioritize your stuff, then, and then from there, it was like a month later, I got I got offered a paid internship, which I've never heard the word paid and internship in the same sentence ever before. So I was like, hell yeah. At this point, I was like 24 years old. And mind you, I went to audio school like 5 years before this. So my resume was outdated. I was passing around a resume that was outdated. My resume I had a 4.0 GPA. I went to an audio school in New York City. 4.0 GPA. I remember when I first sent that resume out, I literally was expecting phone calls like off the hook. I just thought like everybody's gonna want me. Everybody's gonna want me, right? I mean, it's a 4.0. And I literally didn't get any phone calls. And that was one of my big problems of me falling into this comfort zone of like, all right, well, let me do something outside of what I really want to do for now until I, do this. And that's fine. And sometimes you have to do that. But it's the trap of like, can you get out of that eventually?
Right.
Yeah.
I understand if you have to have 1, 2, 3 extra jobs in order to try to go after something bigger that you want to go after. I totally get that. But it's like the idea of eventually, will you ever get out of that? Can you ever make that jump? And I think a lot of people don't, and they do it for reasons that, again, kind of fall back into kind of the comfort zone and kind of just settling for like, all right, they live to pay the bills, and it's like life is not about paying bills, man. It's just not about that. So that a lot of that kind of, I guess what I'm sharing is what got me into saying, shoot, man, I got to go tell this to other people. That was actually the big crossover. I was thinking to myself, I wish I knew this stuff back in high school. If I knew all this, like the motivational books I read and YouTube and all these things I watched, I was like, I would have joined every sport. I would have made friends with every one of my classmates. I would have talked to everybody and tried every academic activity that I could just to be involved and learn and just learn more and explore. And so I was like, I wish someone told me that when I was younger. And then even going into college, like, again, like I said, I had a 4.0. Once no one gave me calls, I gave up. I just straight up gave up because no one was there to like offer me a job. And so it's easy to just kind of fall into that kind of stuff. So that, anyways, that's why I got into the motivational stuff. I wanted to kind of tell younger people to, before you go getting too comfortable, try to, don't be afraid to go after something. If you want to pursue something, just like that's why I like comic books. And even thinking about my dad and what he did, to get into comic books. I mean, he was shot down several times before he actually got his foot in the door. And it was cool. The guy that actually called him to get him into Marvel was Al Milgrom, the artist who worked on. I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with some of his work. So he was the guy. So they actually have kind of a personal relationship that I didn't know about till I started getting into comics. And it's cool. I actually just met Al Milgrom about a year ago at Baltimore Comic Con. And I actually got a thing signed from him, the Hulk 271.
Yeah, but you don't know where it's at. It's okay.
The first rocket. Nah, man, I'm gonna take the whole wall down. So I got that signed by him, but I was like talking to him about it, and I remember telling him like, hey, just so you know, I was like, my dad said hi. He knows you, and I told him about it. He goes, oh, he's like, you're Greg's son. He's like, oh, he didn't even charge me after he found out. Literally, it was really nice of him. And I actually had him sign another book that him and my dad worked on together, one of the Spectacular Spider-Man covers. So that was cool too. That one was just signed to me, not like witnessed or anything, just for myself. So it was really nice. I have it there. I'm not selling that thing. It's just, obviously means so much to me. And so anyways, so my dad too, he certainly got a lot of turn downs before he was able to get in. And thank God my dad didn't take a job that, again, would have gotten him comfortable, where it wasn't in the comic book industry. He never would have jumped into it otherwise. So I think that kind of motivation and thought process really ties into the creators and the artists and the writers that are in the hobby that we love and that we know today. So, I mean, for any writers or artists out there, shout them out. I mean, it's, go after it, man. If you think you have it, you have to try.
Dude, how long did you do the motivational speaking?
So that was probably about 3 or 4 years probably. And it was kind of broken up. The first year and a half, I was I was mentored. I actually worked with this guy, Les Brown. I don't know if you ever heard of him. But he was one of my mentors along with some other people. And so from there, just started getting. So I actually have I had an uncle that worked at a high school, so he got me involved. I had a brother-in-law who was a teacher at a middle school. My biggest thing, he got me in where I spoke to 2 groups of 500 kids, all 7th graders and all 8th graders. And I will tell you, that is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, ever in my entire life, was to keep them listening, keep them engaged, and actually get them to be on my side, and kind of understand things. So I was joking with them and saying all right, hey guys, before I get started, I'm going to take a picture so I can put it on my what I call it, face chat. I'm going to put it on face chat. And they're all like, no, it's Snapchat. I'm like, what, face chat? No. He's like, no, we'll do face chat later. And they kept correcting me and trying to get me in. But I was my mentor kind of taught me that and was like, that'll help keep them involved and paying attention, because they're like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. We got to correct him. We got to help this guy out. So I kept calling it the wrong name, and they're all over it. Because of course, all these kids, they're all on all these platforms now, like Snapchat and stuff. But I'll tell you, that was definitely one of the hardest things. I mean, for me, I'm telling you over here before we get on, a little nervous or whatever. That was very nerve-wracking.
Terrifying, dude. I gotta say, for you doing that at such an early age, that says a lot, man, because that's hard at any age, and you, let alone you doing it that young, when you were that young.
Dude, it was, I mean, and look, I mean, I could talk about it all day. Don't get me, I would still love to do that portion or that pursuit. But it definitely takes, obviously takes a lot of effort and time and money to do all that. One thing that turned me off from the motivational scene was the fact that there were a lot of fakes. So that kind of, a lot of people trying to just get money, trying to make all these extra products to sell. And I wasn't about that. I literally just wanted to share my story and keep things positive and then hopefully get paid for it. And, that was kind of my idea of it. And I just noticed there were so many people trying all these other shady angles that just turned me off. And I didn't want to be associated with them. And that was some of them. And don't get me wrong, there's some great people out there, some really good speakers out there and honest people. But there were also a lot of people that try to just take advantage of people. So that's where I kind of leaned off it. And then, like I said, I once I got into the music industry, I started to fall in love with other things. And music was one thing, but then social media was another. That's something I do personally for a living, is social media and marketing.
So you're still working so now you're working in the music industry?
No, so now I'm full time in marketing, which has been another jump from that. And dude, the music industry was great. The problem was I kind of hit my ceiling with where I was working and the type of money I was able to make.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I mean, I was able to travel. I went to all these, all these big conventions, kind of like Comic Cons, but for audio. Where all these audio nerds would come together, and I did a lot of live gigs too. Worked with some big people. I would say the biggest artists I worked with were Kiss and Jason Derulo. Not together, but they they were probably two of the bigger artists. Sam Smith was another one.
Nice.
Mary J. Blige was up there.
Is that your passion though, the music?
So it was when I was younger. It was.
Right.
It was. I used to be a writer. I used to write a lot of music, record. I used to have a whole little studio, and I used to put music out. I had like.
We gotta link up, man.
I think I was gonna say, yeah, Javi, I saw that you're jamming out on the guitar. I was looking.
Yeah, man, we gotta link up. You gotta motivate now. Motivate me.
Dude, man, no, I meant to say something. That's right, because I was on your Instagram account before. I saw you jamming out, and that reminded me. So I dabble a little bit in guitar, and I kind of self-taught because I played piano for a long time. So that was kind of the thing that launched me off of that. But then I got into the engineering side. I don't know if you do any engineering or recording or things like that, but that's kind of the crossover. And I feel like a lot of musicians do, right? Because you're like, you want to do everything yourself. No one goes to studios anymore unless you're big time. Right. Otherwise, you can make some really great music in your own house. So you start learning, kind of the engineering tricks of the trade. So that's kind of where I got into engineering for a long time. But what's he saying there?
He used to write and produce, and he plays drums also. That's awesome, man.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
I need to read more of the chat. I'm sorry.
Dude, it's all right, dude. I try to put it on, but it's hard.
That's Hialeah's job.
It's hard to do this show sometimes, man, because you just want to get into the conversation and you still want to, of course, acknowledge the chat.
Definitely.
But sometimes I have that problem. I forget about the chat because I just want to listen to But, dude,
that's awesome, though, man.
Yeah, man. So it's definitely been a different journey, and that's how I got into. It's funny. That's how I got into marketing, was from when I got into social media. When I got into the music industry. When I started with one of these companies, they ended up. Oh, cool. He's got friends in Seven Dust. Nice. When I got into the whole music thing, one of the first things the company was like, hey, so I know you went to school for music, but we're actually going to need you to learn video editing. And so that took me into a different world. And I became very good comfortable with video editing. And that's kind of where I picked up some little tricks and stuff for my own, YouTube page and stuff. But so I've been applying some of that stuff. But then that got me into like social media. And then I started at one point, I remember I had this pretty big following on Snapchat. And I don't know if you guys are on Snapchat or if you've ever tried to like grow a following on Snapchat, but it is very difficult. And at one point I had like 400 people where I was literally like, I would go around and make like jokes all day, like dad jokes, like really bad dad jokes. And I just started to develop this following. And then I started teaching other people how to use Snapchat. And I guess that was really the thing that like got me going. But then I found that my passion was in social media. So that's why I'm like so into Instagram and stuff. And so when I got into, to bring it back to comic books, when I'm like, oh, cool, like I'm going to apply my love of social media with my now newfound love of comic books and try to brand myself that way and kind of just, meet people.
At the beginning of the show, you mentioned Instagram and you mentioned YouTube, the different communities. What are the differences that you found so far?
Oh man. So,
what do you see as the difference?
I can really tell, and this is not to, I'm going to try to be fair on both sides.
Yeah, I can tell. You're going down a fine line right here, right?
Sure, I got a lot of YouTube people here right now. I mean, look, when you have a YouTube channel, you got to promote it. I totally get that. So I've noticed that a lot of people are promoting by using, Instagram as their way. I'm not the biggest fan of doing that. However, I have started to do it myself just because I'm trying to get my YouTube channel a little more known. But I am a much bigger fan of seeing real pictures be posted as opposed to edited like banners and stuff like that. Again, I totally get it, and I'm guilty of doing it myself now. But I noticed more YouTubers strictly put banners up, and they show less books. And actually, I really shouldn't put just YouTubers because it's not everybody. It's certainly not everybody. But it's a mix. Like you were saying before, like I don't know, not everybody uses all the features on Instagram. But then also vice versa on YouTube. I can tell if I tell someone like Instagram, people that have an Instagram, I'm like, hey, I'm starting this like YouTube channel. I've had people be like, why? Like you're doing great on here. Like what? Like just like I'm on here. Just keep doing your stuff on here. Why do you got to go to another platform? And I'm like, oh, well, really? I was like, well, there's a lot of cool people on that platform too. And they're like, oh, really? I never checked that out. I'm like, wait, you don't watch any YouTube on like of comic related stuff? He's like, no, man, I got like tons of like shows and stuff and lives that I watch of like Instagram. And I'm like, oh wow. I was like, all right. I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of do too, I guess. But like, I was like, there's a lot more shows, like shows, and things like that in YouTube. And so I've had this conversation with some people. I don't know. I can see I shouldn't say there's like the differences. I really just see that there are different circles. Yeah. And that's one of the bigger things. And I definitely am like, dipping my toes into kind of both circles in that sense. And certainly people clash. I mean, I know you guys certainly have friends on Instagram, that you've made friends on Instagram with, and maybe it just gives you another platform to reconnect on YouTube again or follow up or whatever.
Hey, I just got a question. What's a banner?
What's a banner? Hey,
you lost me at what's a banner.
So So this is perfect. Mr. G, this is what we were kind of talking about behind the stage. One of the things, right, was Hialeah not being up to date on some of this. Just like a pre-made picture, basically, with wording and other pictures that are together that you would post, as opposed to just taking a photo with your camera and posting that actual photo. Okay. All right. So to me, those are more natural when you just take a picture of a book or of yourself or something like that. Whereas once you start adding like text, that like a thumbnail, it's basically like a thumbnail. Okay. So once you start adding thumbnails and stuff, it becomes more like commercialized and not on the spot. And one of the bigger things I think that people get followings from in Instagram is showing things that were more on the spot, because it's real. It's like, you want to show yourself, you want to show your world, your behind the scenes, things like that. So
girls that pop up on Instagram and they're all taking the cute pictures of their butts and stuff, like that's more natural. I look at
we know who you follow, Hialeah. We know who you follow on Instagram.
100,000 followers. I'm like, what the hell? So I guess tomorrow you're gonna see one of me, like,
I guarantee you, though, it'll get a lot of likes. I guarantee you.
You know what, dude? I might try it tomorrow, man.
Try it, man. Dude, do it, man. Do it. Or hold up a cool book, man. I've seen some guys do like their like selfie, like I forget what they call it, like selfie and slab Saturday or something, like, whatever the hashtag is, things like that. But it does add another element. And I know some people don't like to show their face. And I totally get that and respect the idea of obviously privacy, and maybe there are some reasons behind that we don't know. But I do highly recommend people showing themselves, because at the end of the day, we want to know we're talking to somebody. And it just puts us, the viewers, at a little bit more of a comfort. Like, okay, like I can now put a face to a name, and it's just easier to get to be a friend to somebody if you know kind of who they look like, at least from time to time. Hialeah, you don't got to do a face selfie every post in a row, but throw one up once in a while.
Nice. But you know what? That's taking over YouTube too, and I'm not gonna say it started with Perry, but a lot of those reaction videos, they always show the face, and and you're seeing that more in all the thumbnails that are just on YouTube for our community. You're seeing that more and more, and a lot of those channels are blowing up.
Dude,
so
when I see a picture of Perry and he's just like shocked and he's got like, you know, first time ever seeing this film, I'm like, oh man, I gotta see it in person now. Like, you know, it grabs me. Like, yeah, exactly. It's very genuine, very honest and genuine. So
I don't know how genuine it is, man. Perry had to have seen some freaking movie before this. You know, it's like the guy's making it sound like he lived under a rock forever. You know?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Look, I'm not following any of them. I just happen to look sometimes. You know.
Yeah.
You're getting called out, Hialeah.
As hot as I am, I post more comics. Yeah.
I mean, look, the other cool thing too, and I tell this to people I work with, is like, you know, try to take a picture of like your day, like, or like if you're going to a shop, like take a picture of the front of the store that you're going to see, like tag that store, give them a shout out. It kind of, you know, it helps them. It kind of promotes the shop. Obviously you want to do that. And then again, it kind of just shows that you're real and that you're like going to visit a store or something, like you're out and about basically. You're not just posting a book every single time. It's, I don't know, it's refreshing. It's a good change up.
I gotta tell you, on my Instagram, I don't post a lot on Instagram, but I've noticed the likes. I get a lot, like when we're hunting Javi and the pictures with our group, or with my friends, or me just with my sons for their birthday. I get a ton more likes on those pictures than I do when I'm showing a couple of books.
Yeah, because you're still Hialeah Comic Bro. You
right.
know, people, you post your books, but it's nice to see.
Yeah.
You know, real life, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about the X-Men, like it's like a slice of life, and
right.
that's as much as enjoyable as X-Men 1 signed by Stan Lee.
Totally.
Yeah, dude. If you guys haven't, you guys gotta go. If you're joining late, and you gotta go back and. Oh, dude.
If I tag No Good Comics on IG, I get more likes. That's what Mr. Girl says.
Was it?
What did he say?
If I tag No Good Comics on Instagram, I get more likes.
What's up, geeks?
There you
What's
go.
up, geeks? Joshua Wright. Big Remo also jumped in here, man.
Thank you, guys. Dude, so how does it feel? You look at this. It's an hour and 21 minutes. Look at how fast that went.
Wow, yeah, man.
I
feel like we just got started, man.
I told you. I'm about to tag you every time.
Everybody's just gonna start tagging.
No, I'm not hating on Perry. Bro. Perry's freaking on fire, dude. I'm not hating on Perry. No way. But
he's great.
But it's crazy. I guess we come to 1 hour and 21 minutes, dude. Like I said, exactly, Mr. Guerrero. How would anybody hate Perry? And guys, how is anybody gonna hate Justin, dude? God bless. Motivational. I'm still blown away with the motivational speaker at such a young age. Honest.
Well, hey, man. I mean, it comes down to. I mean, look, I still have many years ahead of me, and I talk to people. There were moments where I was talking to people older than me, and trying to give advice. And it's not even so much of like the age. It's just about whatever your experience is, and what you learned in your experience, and how you can carry that over to somebody else. In this particular scenario, it was kind of my career, right? So I'm sharing kind of my thoughts on my career. But guys, we do this here on the comics too. I mean, think about some mistakes that you've done, where maybe you bought comics or you submitted, a restoration type. I've heard stories of people, sending in books to CGC that maybe was missing a page they didn't know about. They bought it from a seller that told them it was complete. Yeah. Like that was a mistake on them, right? So then they go and share it with people like me who are newer to comics, and that helps me. So in a way, that in itself was like a motivational speaking type of level of stuff, where it's just like we all do it to some degree. Where we mess up, so we want to tell other people, hey, look, before you do this, don't mess up like me, because I just messed this up and it was really silly of me. If I can help you, great, And I've learned so many things just from other people's mistakes. Not EMFC, appreciate that, man. You know what I mean? Like if you can learn from other people's mistakes instead of your own, I mean, that's the way to go, right? I mean,
I still make mistakes, dude, and everybody does. Dude.
And that's just the beauty, but
it's just the way.
But that's what I mean. It's like so you don't have to. It doesn't matter what age you are. Once you make that mistake and you learn from it, now you're technically qualified, right, to tell someone else about it and give them that heads up. You could be 8 years old. I mean, if 10 years old, you're learning something and you tell someone else something that you just, hey, that iron's hot. Don't touch that. Like little things like that even can help, another person on different levels. So I just took it to where I wanted to go out of my way to go to classrooms, and try to talk to people. I tried to do some stuff on YouTube at one point when I was younger, things like that. I took a lot of that down, but it's just, whatever way I was able to reach people, that's how I was trying to do it at that time. And again, I think a lot of it can kind of tie into this stuff. I mean, I'm sure you talk to people, again, like I said, people trying to do stuff in the industry, or even like, writing music, playing guitar, Javi, as you're doing, like, I mean, go after that stuff, man. If you love that stuff, I mean, it's all about right? I mean, it's passion at the end of the day. So it's like, if you can just,
and you brought it up earlier. You said, it takes hard work, but if you put in that work, you say you're knocking on people's doors trying to get an internship. If you put in that work, it's
totally,
along with the passion and everything.
I mean, look, if
come your way.
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
Right.
If you wanted to be a rock star and it was easy, literally everybody would be a rock star, and then you wouldn't care because like, oh well,
and then nobody would appreciate it,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to separate yourself. You have to, and by separating yourself, you put in work, and actually, honestly, a perfect example. We're talking about Perry. From the time that I started following Perry, I mean, he's come a long way with his subscribers, with what he's done on YouTube. A long way. Man. He's that's what I mean. Like that's all behind the scenes work. And some people might look at Perry and say that dude came out of nowhere, but like, no, man, he's been working. He like all that behind the scenes stuff, posting every day, using other platforms like Instagram. He's tied that all in and has done what works for him. And that certainly worked, man. I hope that he blows up in a way that like he could do this for life and not have to work. I mean, look, I know there's certainly people that do this for a living, whether they're just on YouTube every day. So kudos to him. If he can pull something off like that, that'd be awesome. But it certainly doesn't just fall into his lap. He has to work for that. So
he's been working since the beginning. He's working, and now I think he just found his niche, and now you can see the fruits come from the hard work and stuff.
Absolutely, and that's you got to find that edge. And look, it's just like an artist, right? You could think about an artist where you look at any artwork and you could just point that artist out. Something for me recently, I've started to really notice Terry and Rachel Dotson, some of their stuff that I'm really starting to appreciate some of their work. And I go back and look at some of their old work and I can just recognize every single thing. But it's important that they took that time to be their own, kind of make their own niche, kind of, design their own stuff and not just copy other writers or
their own style.
So same thing with somebody like Perry. It's just like, he found something that works, amazing for him, something he's passionate about. He also gets to watch movies while he does it. It's like the life right there. So, it's cool. And that's one of the best things when you start doing stuff that you just love doing and you can do that for a living. It's life-changing, man. It can be life-changing. And that's what I try to tell. That's what I was trying to tell people when I was, talking to kids and stuff. Just like, don't just fall into it, man. Society just expects you to like, get a job and, immediately jump into having a family. And, you got to work 9 to 5, right? Like they paint this picture of 9 to 5 and it's like,
but you know what, when I was coming up, that's what it was. And that's basically what my life was.
Right.
Yeah.
You get a job, you get married, you have kids, and you stay at that job. And that's basically my life. Yeah. I got super freaking lucky that I picked the right job, and I'm good now. And I went through a lot of ups and downs, don't get me wrong, but it fell into place, and now, it worked out for me. But that's not the norm. Sometimes you just stay in that job and you're rotten. But you know what? I got rotten at my job, but I was able to leave. Yeah, I was able to leave. It's been great ever since. Everything fell into place. But anyway.
So here's some.
That was the norm. That was the norm.
Right. Well, so here's something heavy for you, right? So and I don't really share this with a lot of people, but I will tonight. So basically, another way that you can look at this too, and we're talking careers here, but just in terms of anything, Same thing goes for like relationships.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you now,
Totally.
you know, it is in the same way. So you could be so invested and tied into a person that is not the person for you, or it's not healthy for you, or it's not healthy for them, or neither of you. And a lot of people will just continue to ride that out based on society, that nobody wants to admit that they've been divorced before. Nobody wants to, no one wants to start over, right? Like, same thing. If I'm in one job and it's like, wait, if I want to get into this industry, I have to quit this industry. It's like, oh, but then I'd have to start over. And that means maybe I have to start making minimum wage again. And then maybe that means I can't go have fun on Friday nights like I used to. And maybe I can't, you know, some of this other stuff. And it's the same thing with like doing it with a relationship. And the heavy thing that I'm talking about is I was married. And as I mentioned, I have a girlfriend now. But, you know, I had a friend of mine who wrote this book, and he had this like message where he talked about like the idea of climbing the wrong ladder, the wrong mountain, climbing the wrong mountain. And the idea of like, you know, there's all these different mountains, right? And it's not easy, obviously, to just climb a mountain. You got to put a lot of work into it. Right. So you climb this mountain and you go day and night, and you work for it, you bleed for it, you sweat for it. And you finally get to that mountain. And sometimes you realize that's not the right mountain. Yeah. It wasn't the right mountain to climb. And the same vein, it's like sometimes that happens where, again, me and my ex-wife, we weren't healthy for each other. We weren't meant to be the way that we worked, the way that we operated. Luckily for me, it was a very peaceful and civil divorce. And I know a lot, not everybody's lucky to go through something like that, at least. But I'll tell you, I learned so much within that I don't regret going through it, for sure. Yeah. But it's certainly something where it's like, you have to adjust your mind. Like, okay, this part was wrong. I can't just sit here, can't just complain about it. I can't just cry about it. Like, I have to do something. Like life is going to keep going regardless of what I do. So it's like, all right, so I'm going to turn around now. I'm going to start dating again. I'm going to start, you know, get back out, you know. And as I was sharing with you guys, like, you know, I'm with my girlfriend now for 3 years. And I've never been happier. I've never, and in fact, and this is something I never put out. Her and I started a podcast, and we did 5 episodes. It's called Love on the Weekends. You guys can go check it out if you can find it. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. But we talk about some heavy stuff like this, right? And we talk about, I mean, realistically, we talked about some fun stuff too, like you know, how to approach a first date and things like that, right. Online dating, some fun topics like that, and for people maybe that are still out there trying to figure things out. But anyways, that to me can happen too in the same way. It's like, it's not just applied to career, but it certainly can be applied to relationships, friendships. I mean, look, if you got a buddy that's like bringing you down, it's like, you know, just falling into some darker areas of life, you know, sometimes it's not good, you know. Jess is how cute. Yeah, I know I'm gonna regret putting that out there. But
I gotta tell you, man, I can totally relate to what you're saying, because I went through a divorce, and I gotta say, it's the hardest thing I've ever gone through in my life. Yeah. But it wasn't a bad divorce. I'm just talking to the emotional part of it, because it was very civil. We have 3 kids together, and she's a great ex-wife. And got out of that. And I remember one time I was down, and I was with my dad, and I told my dad, man, this is taking years off my life. And my dad's, I'm a lot like my dad, but he didn't even look at me. I remember we were like at a bar, and he goes to me, well, you better go find those years, you know, and stop, you know, it's basically he was saying, stop fucking crying, you know, get over it. Move forward. And it's true. There's no looking back. Right. And it's the best thing that ever happened to me was my divorce, man. Cause now I'm such a better place. I'm with my wife, the person I'm meant to be with. Mm-hmm. My kids are good. You know, I'm still a dad. It's not like, oh my God, now you're not a dad. No, I did all my stuff, and you know, my dad, my kids adore me, as I think they do. But anyway, but yeah, dude, it's like sometimes I hear these long relationships. Oh my God, and they break up, and oh, she was in a relationship for 2 years, and it's like, awesome. They broke up. At least she wasn't in the relationship for 3 years, or 4 years, or 5 years, and she's gonna, or him, or they,
right,
could move past that, you know, and you're not stuck in that because, and people just, oh, I've already put in 2 years, so I don't want to lose the 2 years. No, man, lose 2 years, lose those 2 years.
Exactly. No, you're right. And that same thing with career. It's just like, oh, I went to school for this. I spent thousands of dollars to go to college for this. And, you know, or I've been working at this company for 10 years. I can't leave them now. It's so easy. And what you're saying here too, is like, a lot of it comes down to perspective. And it's all about, you know, you've heard the saying, you're either half full glass or half empty glass kind of thing. It reminds me of a story that I always like to share with people. And it's the idea of, I heard this story once where there's these two brothers that grew up where their father was an alcoholic. And always bring me down. So these two brothers, right, have their father was an alcoholic. They grew up together in the same house. Long story short, basically these brothers grow up. One brother grows up to be this successful, you know, business person, whatever, you know, successful, living their life, family, and all the good stuff. The other person grew up to become an alcoholic. And so one day they were interviewed, these two brothers, and they interviewed the first brother that was successful. And they go, well, you know, they interviewed the one that's alcoholic. They go, how do you think you got to where you are today? And the brother said, well, you see, my dad, he was an alcoholic. And, you know, so naturally I became an alcoholic. And so then they went to the successful brother. They said, how do you think you got to where you are today? And he said, well, you see, my dad, he was an alcoholic and I didn't want to be like that. So I went in this complete direction of what he was. So that kind of giving the perspective of, it's all about how you take that with your own life, how you look at something. And you can either say to yourself, well, I've been in 5 years of marriage. I can't give up those years. So let's just ride out another 30. Or you can say to yourself, well, good thing I learned now. Let's cut it short here so I can move on and live a life I want to live. You know, that's kind of what it breaks down to. And I tell you, a lot of people fall for the first one. And it's totally human. It's totally human. It's totally like, I get it. I totally get it, man. And I was in denial for that first few months where I was like, man, I'm really getting divorced. Like, what? Like, this is, you know, I would think to myself,
you feel like a failure. You feel like a failure. It's like, oh my God.
I was like, I would think to myself and say, oh, I've heard people get divorces. I would never, I couldn't be one of those people. I would that wouldn't happen to me, right? That would never happen to me. And then it happens, and you know, it's you know, you have to be able to kind of like either accept it or figure it out while you can. Straight after those failed, it was really
just trying to be funny.
But anyways, I know this is all some heavier stuff, but you know, it's part of stuff I believe in, and
you gotta keep going forward. You can't stay in the same spot. You can't go back. You can't go, oh my God, I should have done this. I should have done that. Man, just learn from it. Just learn from it and move forward. People get stuck. It's arrested development. You see a lot of people in arrested development. It's like, dude, grow up. It's like, grow up, forward. Stop crying over all that coulda, shoulda, woulda, shoulda. Make it better now.
Yep.
You know, do your best, man.
Yep. And it's hard.
It's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah, and especially depending who you're around. If you either you have friends and family that support you, or you don't. And when you don't, it's even harder. You know, it's certainly, and that's something, you know, kind of tying back to the community. It's what I love about the comic community that I've met. Is just there's been so many amazing people doing amazing things for other people in the community. Especially when they're going through hard times. I've seen people who had to sell their grails because they had personal life matters to attend to. And I've seen the community come back and help and donate and buy and support. So it's awesome that, you know, that we're in a hobby, that there are some genuinely honest and good people. You know, of course there's that one or two a-holes once in a while, but but the right people. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, so it's good to have good people around.
Hey man, we're glad to have you. No good. It doesn't sound right, but it sounds like no good, but it's no good.
The old play on words. I thought I was clever when I came up with that. I actually came up with it when I was younger, and it wasn't for comics. It was for I wanted to make my own record label. Again, going back to the music stuff. And I remember someone had a title that said like there was some other company that it wasn't like a big company or anything, but they had like no good talent or something like that, and it was a film company. And I was like, oh, I want to make a record label, so I made a no skill. Oh, mine was No Skill Records. That's what it was, No Skill Records, but it was KNOW. And and I had that for a very long, like I was like in high school when I had that, and so when I got into this, I was like, oh man, what can I do? And I almost went with I used to be known as like Mermaider, which is from Metalocalypse, this cartoon show.
Okay,
From Adult Swim, but I got off of that because they used to be my name on Halo when I used to play Halo. But then so anyway, so then I was like, oh, let me go No Good and just have fun. Now people call me No Good like it's my name, and it's just kind of normal. I mean, I'm used to it now.
Call me Hialeah, man. And it's normal too. Conquistadork,
it just sticks now. Yep.
You go with it. So yeah, I mean, anyone that just makes an Instagram account, if anyone's asking me about it, I try to give them a heads up, like, all right, if you're gonna make an account, just know that's gonna kind of be your name. So make sure it doesn't spell something wrong out or something, within the wording or something like that, and because you gotta get used to it. Love Deathlock. Yeah, dude, saw them live actually a couple times. They were dope. Even though it's a cartoon, the writer he went live.
Yeah.
But
hey man, I just want to say it's nice having you in the community, man. This was a great hangout. We're at an hour and 40 minutes.
That's crazy.
I got one last question, but first, do you got anything going on, Justin?
Just my YouTube channel that I'm starting. I've been putting that out now. Try to put 1 to 2 videos out a week. Appreciate any love there. And then I'm starting to kick off this new show. It's on Saturdays on Instagram. It's live every 2 o'clock Saturdays, 2 o'clock Eastern time, and it's called Comic Collector Origins. Basically, I'm interviewing the community, certain people that I'm going to have on. I know I just talked to NYC Javi. He's going to be on next Saturday.
Nice.
And basically, I ask you, the person I'm interviewing, how you got started with comic books. What's your origin story, and what's your first appearance of the first time you picked up a comic book or the first time you walked into a local store. So it's a cool little Q&A. Goes for about an hour. So yeah, trying to get that out there a little bit. But I appreciate it, and I want to thank you both. Thank you guys for inviting me. I really, when you reached out, man, I was like, dude, 100%. I'd love to, man. I've seen you guys everywhere else. Hialeah, let me just say, I anytime I look at my Hulk issue, my Red Hulk issue, I will think of you, brother. Every time.
Of course.
So
the raging Hialeah.
Yeah, man. But so thanks, guys. I really appreciate everything that you guys are doing and continue to do for the community.
Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you accepting and coming on and having a great time with us, dude.
Yeah, man.
Javi, you got something going on?
We got Silver Age Sundays coming up. Hopefully we can do our cook-off showdown soon. And I'm in the works of bringing something new to Silver Age Sunday. So that's going to be exciting. Keep it under wraps for now.
Okay.
Awesome.
Nice.
I gotta say, please like, share, subscribe. I do put the links for our guests in the thing, and what's that called, in the description after the video ends.
There you go.
Yeah, guys, appreciate it. We do like subs. We do want to grow. Although I don't advertise it anywhere, I suck at that. But hey, you know what my last question is?
What's that?
How's Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, bro?
Wait, what?
How are Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons? You said you work with them?
Oh, they were cool, man. And unfortunately, I didn't get to meet them face to face. I did a lot of the audio cabling and stuff like that, and setting up the mics beforehand and sound check and things like that. But during the show, super awesome to see. They actually came out after the show and did autographs. Like, they just walked out into the crowd.
Wow, nice.
Which I talked to some of their fans, and they were like, "Yeah, they do this. They do this from time to time, and they will just straight up, walk into the crowd." They had like they were like the drummer was like flying in the air, drumming on this like stage that was like swinging, and like I'll never forget that show because one of my biggest jobs that I did during the show was I was in the recording truck. So it was basically this big RV that they turned into an audio truck. And it was parked around back, and we would drive this thing. We went to Nashville, we went to California, all these crazy places, and we would like plug into whatever system that was outside of the arenas or wherever we went. So one of my jobs was during the event, I had to record each track individually, and I had to mark down when they would like stop at a certain song and start at a new song, because they were, if they ever wanted to use it as a CD or use it as their, you ever buy like a live CD or something. So one of my jobs was that, but I also manned all of the recording systems. So it was all computers. They call it, run the tape or whatever. But it was all computers. And I have the laptop in front of me, or the keyboard in front of me. And if I hit the space bar at any given point in the show, that would ruin the entire thing. And I remember being so nervous because at that show, I remember I almost dropped something that landed on the keyboard, and I don't know what I would have done if I screwed something up like that. It was so, and from there on I slid the keyboard underneath and only pulled it out when I had to type something that I needed to type. Otherwise I was using the mouse, and I just remember like sweating. And that show I remember being very careful about.
All you thought about was the space bar.
Yeah, I'm like, anybody else want to do this job? Like, I'll go do something else. And, it was that. And the other big thing they had me do was drive the actual RV, which I'm not qualified. I don't have actually this one was small enough that you technically didn't need a license, although you probably should have. And I had to drive it down to Nashville. And I remember my boss at that time was like, "Hey, just so you know, part of your job description," like these guys were they're on the fly. They ask you to do random stuff. He's like, "By the way, your job description, 5 hours of driving. You know that, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, good one." And he's like, "No, really, because me and the other guy, we're gonna need to sleep at some point, and we're up all night we were up like you basically had to break up your sleep and stuff." And I was like, you don't want me on that thing. And this is a multi-million-dollar truck, And they're like, "Just don't go fast, just, they set me on the highway, right? And I'm over here it was like a bus, and I'm just like tight, and he's like, "Just ride the line, because if you're not riding the line, that means you're on the other line." He's like, "So you got to be like tight to this side of the line because the thing is so wide." Right. And here I am now, so we're all safe, but some nerve-wracking things for sure. Sorry for all the deep elaboration, but I had to share that.
That's awesome.
I just want to ask. I want to thank Max for subbing us up. Justin, I guess you brought him over here, Chet.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever lick it up?
Oh my!
I used to be big into Kiss back in the day.
Nice.
Man, so
nice.
Dude, thanks for coming on, man.
Dude, likewise, guys.
Thank you so much, man. And thank you everybody in the chat for hanging out, man. It's been great. Your participation has been awesome.
Big time.
Yeah, man. Thank you everybody in the chat tonight. Even you, 90. You were okay. You behaved for the most part. Hey, I don't know if you saw this one. Jackson, I will get that X-Men #1. I will get that. Yeah.
Motivation. Telling yourself.
But thank you, everyone. We'll be back on next week, hopefully 9:00. And our guest is already lined up, and I guess you got to find out. Come by next week, and you'll see who it is. Maybe they'll put something out on Instagram and promote our show, because God knows we don't. But anyway, thanks for coming by, Big Remo. Everybody, have a great night, have a great week, and take care, guys. Later. So long from the Sunshine State. Take care. Bye.